as an industry, Ghanaian music is still riding within the waves of Nigerian music. I'm just singling it out. You know why? In a sense that globally, afrobeats is known to be Nigerian.
But it's not though.
We know that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, feminism.
This is just my observation, and it's not invalid. It is valid in several ways. You see, people would have many women will stand up for different submissions, but I think the social media general thing you find is a beautiful lady who has managed to keep herself so well in all forms, not only in looks, but in shapes, but in you know, and most of them would flaunt that on social media as the accomplishment or the warrant for spoiling or to be spoiled. Yeah, I mean, I do. So that's why I was asking her, like, how about men? Because with that particular person that I was vibing with back and forth, they didn't find any. They felt like, no, men are the one that should be spent. We were asking, okay, how about you reciprocate the same thing on the man? No. Because the man actually brings stuff. You want the man to take you out, spoil you on top of everything else. But I was only trying to get her mind to also realize that, like what she was saying.
We're both human beings.
Yeah, and which is the first time I'm actually hearing a woman actually support the motion that men actually also can say we want a soft life and begin to just play like, yo, if you're a girl and you don't have this, that, I'm not vibing with you. Because there's no guarantee of any soft lifeness in there. So imagine when men also start to go like, you look nice, you dress well, you're good, you do something for yourself. And I know some men do, some men live on that still. Yeah. But it's not as, you know.
Why do you think men don't, a lot of men don't even, it seems like a lot of men don't even understand that they deserve that type of life, you know?
Exactly, that's another part of it. Yeah. I mean, I'm one person who doesn't even think about it. Yeah. It doesn't even come to mind as much as like, I know I deserve a soft life. I need no. Because we were grown as men to be, you know, you're the provider. You are the security, you are the caretaker, you are the head of the house. So you sort of like, we've not been taught that we also can chill. See, I'm laughing at what I'm saying. How can you want to chill when you are the man now? You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I feel like everybody's a victim of like societal, the way society brought us up, all of us. We're all victims of it. We can unlearn it. Yeah, good. That's what I was about to say. Interestingly, I was just about to add to the fact that, interestingly, these are just things that we ourselves have made into laws. Yeah. Where we can actually detach ourselves and feel free as humans. When the girl is showing you a lot of love, it's beautiful, they want to care for you, they want to provide for you, they want to aid you, it's cool. And as a man, if you can do the same, is the best. Fantastic. You know? So I like where we started this conversation. I imagine. How long has that been in your mind? Normally. Oh, it's just a daily chat. It's just daily. Like, you know, we're vibing with her and she wants to go to Barbados, Bahamas. You're going to pay for that responsibly. No. Because she, why would you pay for that? Why? You don't have to be her man or anything to do that. You do have to be her man to do that. Yeah. So you just have to, you want to, the thing is the benefit in the end. Bro, yes. So you are inputting to output. Because even though she's my friend, if I do that, there's a certain person that's going to be mad at me that I know. That's your wife or your girlfriend? Someone that I know that's close to her. Okay, that is her boyfriend. So. But I think it's ideal anyway, child. Like if, you know, I think it's only ideal for who owns you to spend on you. Sorry, the word own. That's why I came back to that. Yeah. Because in the end, everybody has a right. Everybody has a right to somebody. Like by you see, the right to somebody is not by force. It's you who have to allow. And I know that a lot of people have allowed in the name of love. You know, to have people say, yeah, it's you I'm dealing with. You know, vice versa. So it's just right that whoever you're dealing with has to bear the maximum cost in it. Have you ever thought about starting a podcast? Me, no. What would I talk about? I have a lot to talk about. I'm happy to be on your shows and we can have discussions.
That's the wildest part, because the first time we had a conversation, it wasn't great because of Vaz. The second time was
great.
Yeah,
I felt
this one is started off well as well. So you have a lot to say.
I mean, as I'm on your show, so the Pulse show is great. You know, it's good to be on it too.
Have you been a writer? Have you ever been a writer before? Like,
yes, for sure. I remember I wrote a play before I wrote a song.
Oh, wow.
So I wouldn't give up on that in it, because as small as I was, whatever led me to do that is still within me. And therefore I have to grow it. You know, I know I write a lot of music sometimes. Most of my songs I can write. This morning when we came, I was putting story beats to my music video. You know, so I've been involved in all the creative processes, you know, from the video, especially the music. I write it all myself, imagine what I want to talk about. You know, while I was here, I just recorded a song called Hello. The scene, the way I put it, somebody would say is my story, is not. I just wrote it because I can relate to certain things that go on. It's good
that a superstar African artist is admitting that they still write. I like it. Everybody wants to form that, oh, I don't write anymore, I just freestyle it. It can be annoying sometimes.
Yeah. Which is, you see, I think is the way it's explained. I can explain my writing from head to microphone. And then, you know, it's just that I have developed over the years to know what to put immediately and what to ease. So more times you put it down there, you ease, and then you write it out to fit the context properly, and then you record. So I call the whole of that writing, I call that whole thing writing. So it's either you write on paper before you sing, either you freestyle it from your mind. It was written somewhere.
Yeah, fair enough, actually. Do you go through writer's block though?
Writer's block?
Block, yeah.
Yes, you do sometimes. You do, because it's part of the process.
Yeah.
You want to place a bar, you're humming over the melody for like 30 minutes. You pause it, you leave it, you zoom into something else. By the time you come to hear it back, you find the line and you just sing it. So that really happens.
But you've been at this for a while though.
Exactly. And that's the reason why I look into my soul more, like deliver my feel. You know what I mean? Like, I think the more you dig, the more you get the rarest gems still coming out. Because it's getting deeper and deeper. So.
We had the guy come here recently. He just left just before he came. His name is Jay. He's signed to Empower. Really good artist, young guy from Ghana. It was almost going to wait for you, but he had another interview somewhere. Nice. And a lot of people, when people mention your name, it rings a bell. Does it get old?
I'm not on that receiving end, I'm on the giving end. So if my name blows through and you hear it, you remember something at least. Either from the days, early 2000s, maybe 2006, 7, 8, thereabout going on. That's like the foundation.
Yeah.
Up to this point. Yeah. So I think to my son, who is only 3 years old, he's just growing to realize who his father is and the name therefore. So he's going to grow on from there into whenever he is, whoever. So I think it may never get old, the name when it's mentioned.
Yeah. I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Between the last time that we spoke and now, news broke and I reported that you and Shatta settled. Were you ever fighting? That was what the blogs carried from Ghana.
You know, the music industry has a lot of ego and wars to play. Physical wars, spiritual wars that you never even know about.
Spiritual wars?
Yes, because why I say spiritual is because there's nothing we can do without the other side of us.
Facts.
You know, because it's two things every time.
Facts.
You know, so that's why I said spiritual wars as well. It couldn't just be physical wars, emotional war, sentimental wars that you're fighting that you don't even know. And I think the music industry being a competitive place where people are called stars and stars want to be the brightest, it brings about a lot of things. So there will always be some form of fight. But as far as I'm concerned, I've moved in a spirit of light and peace, you know, and I never really have anybody on my neck to hit at. You know, lately, I feel like when news break out, people look at the reactions more than what caused it. Because we love to jump on the bandwagon and talk before we think, somewhat, to an extent. So it doesn't give a clear picture who is the antagonist or who is the
protagonist.
You know what I mean? It's just like, the two of them, and that's how the news goes on. But when you check, I definitely can point to say that I defend my turf and I hold my corner, but I only have love to give. You know what I mean?
So the reaction, do you think the reaction from like the media was unnecessary? Yeah?
No, it can never be unnecessary. It's just about if it is concrete enough or not. So reports will go about anyway. These days, everybody is a content creator. That's how technology has turned everybody into. And news are being picked from left and right, whatever we find. Interesting ones that can accumulate the views and have people looking at the subject matter. It doesn't really matter if they become good judges of those issues, you know. So I just take it as, yes, there you go. That's what it is.
Speaking of media rights, around about after that time, after the time that news came out that you guys said to, Shatta had an episode that's very unpopular and very famous. And your statements at the time seemed to take his side. The same way you dropped.
I like the way you said the statement at the time. The only coincidence was that it was within the heat of the matter that I actually dropped the coal, like the ice. So basically, it was received some kind of way. But afterwards, I can state factually that was the period where I saw some very responsible Twitter handles from Nigeria siding with what I said and reposting and said, but Sha, look at it, Sha, but when you read it, he's not saying anything bad. He's only placing responsibility on the fellow brothers who are actually, in my opinion, ordained to carry everything to the West. And therefore, if there be a certain form of consideration, let it be done, so that the other ones who also contribute to different things to add up to the to the total picture would also feel represented somewhat. It's just like asking the bigger ones to, if they can, consider to also rope in the smaller ones. That's what I said literally. And I didn't say that I didn't support the mode or even what he was representing, because I can clearly tell you that he was talking about himself. I was talking about the industry. 100%.
Personally, because I know you, or because I've met you, after I read the statement, what I said was you provided more context to some of his rants. But I still didn't like where your statement then crested on. Because then felt like at the end of the day, it was still leaning more towards that side. Because we have had this conversation before.
Exactly.
We've had this conversation twice before. And the context you provided for me was that these people have this thing at this time, right? And it makes sense for them to carry people along. You repeated that in the statement, but at the end of the statement, it felt like he then fell back to his side. And that was where people like me...
Which was...
they need to do more. Maybe Nigerian artists in this situation need to do more or do better. That's fair. That's what I read like.
Yeah, but exactly so, but it didn't really... I mean, exactly so, but now if he hadn't said that, I think if he hadn't come out first to say anything, I think my point wouldn't be judged
differently
the way it was. That's just the difference I see in the reason why asking from a very honorable point of view something that is like, brothers, you know, is in you guys' hands if and when you can. You see?
That's proper context.
Definitely. If he didn't drop it the way he did, that would have been the right way to come up with something, because in the end we jaw together and we all move together, irrespective of the borders that we have surrounding us. The growth of Nigerian artists or Nigerian people affects the growth of Ghanaians and even the rest of Africa. The decline of Ghanaian artists, some way, somehow, will surely also affect.
I don't think it declined though. That's the thing.
No, I'm not stating, I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm making examples.
Dynamic,
I'm just trying to make some strong point of, you know, the fact that we all need each other and have to have that mindset of trying to. Because definitely if you want to live for industry, then you have more to deal with. Meanwhile, a lot of people have not finished thinking about themselves only yet. You know what I mean? So that's just where I'm coming from. Like I said, he's coming from a personal, selfish point of view, which I can attest to. And I'm coming from an industry point of view without fighting anybody, but just tendering my points.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you get any calls from like your Nigerian artist friends during that time?
Yes, during that time, when the Nigerians, when the social media Nigeria side was actually very angry, although understanding of what I said, but you know, even you say, you talk about, even you say,
you don't supposed to talk.
You say, don't talk. You know what I mean? I know how Nigeria gets. Naturally, Nigerians are like that. Like I see people every single time I see you guys communicate. And if I didn't know you guys, I would really feel like, what's up? You know, like, but you know, it's that energetic. So I received it that way. That David was laughing at me, basically. And when he came to Ghana one time, he put a video of me and I had to, you know me, I'm funny like that. I said, Naija, I beg you, everything we are talking very nice. So I think that also went in the news. And then also Stonebwoy apologizes. I like it. Look, if it is to prove my intent, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it is to prove my true intention, I'll do it. So you guys come to the, conclusion that we're all family. You know, I'm only asking that to whom much is given, much is expected, basically.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Where do you think Ghanaian music is at right now as an industry?
As an industry, Ghanaian music is still riding within the waves of Nigerian music. I'm just singling it out. You know why? In a sense that globally, afrobeats is known to be Nigeria.
But it's not though.
We know that. Exactly. So this is realistically speaking, looking at it from a bird's eye view.
Facts.
Exactly. So that's how I can state it cleanly. Internally, we all know what major and minor contributions we are all, making here and there. Else why would I want to see the need to come to Nigeria to connect? Why would David always see the need to even come to Ghana? So we all need and love to depend or, visit and go through one another as much as we know. But for the West, I think this is where it is. So Ghana music is actually a part of the lot, but gets submerged within the Nigerian music categorization when it goes out on the globe. Except for the fact that, sometimes it gets a bit more distinctive with people like myself who are quite heavy on the Caribbean reggae dancehall side, also bridging that gap, because that gap has really actually, been in existence for a very long time, but have hardly had, bold and strong representation all through and through. It's just like we all bite from it, but we hardly are able to represent for it because there's a feeling and a fear of it belonging to Jamaicans only. Meanwhile, when you check the roots down of Jamaicans, the same as me and you from this West Africa, Ghana, that has gone over that side. So we are as reggae as Afrobeats. We carry identity of Rastafari, from myself to the Burners to a lot of people in the game, for instance, Ashake. Why is everybody doing that? It comes from a setting, is us. You know what I mean? So that's what is distincting the vibes a little bit, where Stonebwoy is like this. So sometimes I get the Ghana flag tag properly fitted on me. Most often too, I get the Nigeria tag fitted on me. I take both because my mind is open enough to know that we are carrying ECOWAS passport together. You see, there are certain things going on on different political platforms that are trying to unite us. So why are we even considering on segregating us that much? You know, it's just that we have to realize that you, if you help, who help you, you know, fit. It's not by force, but we have to understand that generally we're together.
Speaking of how reggae has influenced us here, right? A lot of our people in West Africa are angry when, like, I see some people from Nigeria, Ghana, some parts of Cameroon, when foreign people do like afrobeats, they go there, they bombard their comment sections. Like, why are you doing it? Like a K-pop star doing afrobeats, for example, Africans would go there, say, don't do it. Do you think anybody can gatekeep sound though?
Thank you. It's one of the things I've ever spoken before, but not with anybody on TV, and that's why me and you always have a deep conversation. You realize that we can do. I do not think, you know, people frown on me for being known as dancer
no.
as much as reggae.
Yeah.
You know, but if maybe, vice versa, a Jamaican can hardly say they are Afrobeat artists.
Facts.
Let's not even move outside of color.
Facts. 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 Our people go there and be angry though. They'll go there and say, you can't say that.
You see, but that's where I want to always point it out, that like, we have to realize that they are as Afrobeats as we are reggae as well. You know, it's just that when your talent content allows you to be able to go far and wide, why not explore it? Even in the Bible, he gave talents, multiple talents. So some people can only stick to one style, others can be able to verge into several styles, stemming off of the black DNA. It's allowed, you know. But this conversation is valid. But it becomes a thing of a culture when somebody from outside of your cultural zone, or, you know, is picking up and doing things. We all have understood that. Then it goes up to become about ownership and how they would want to try and maybe in the next 100 years, we realize that Afrobeats is actually from Korea.
Repurposing the stories.
You know what I mean? We see that too ago, and that's why I know that our people get very defensive to try to alert to make them know, say, okay, it's here. But if they do it too, it still carries us across into, because they can never do Afrobeats without iota of any black something in there. So then we have to look at it as it's also going to take us far and wide and near, because that's the aim. The vision is to conquer, basically.
Yes, sir. But the thing then becomes like, I see there was a situation that happened on Twitter last year. A guy interviewed Wiz for GQ, and even though it was still the best interview from like an American or like someone who is not African, tell like the African story, interview a super African artist, I was of the opinion that let people from these particular regions interview these people. I would not have had a problem if it was a Ghanaian interviewing Wiz for GQ. But these people, it's not like they can't write it, but the context that is required, it might not be there. If you keep doing it, the context will keep getting lost, and the story will be told in different ways. My question here is, do artists have a role to play in this, or do they not have a choice at all?
To play in what?
In who interviews them.
Oh, yes, you can choose who you want to talk to. You should be able to. You know, unlike when you're up and coming and you have to be everywhere, when you're growing, there are a lot of places you can't go in life, basically. So then there comes a point where there's a need to find which narrative supports your story. You know, coming from the interviewer point of view, because we have interview platforms where you know what you're going to talk when you go on that show. You know that this is a sports show, this is an agenda, kind of a political show. So then you prepare your minds for, so an artist can actually choose where they want to go, and then also play a part and play a role in holding together what belongs to us as African people. There is a need to sometimes being loose about it, in a sense that you're too open, will just get it taken away, just because it requires several resources and facilities to also keep bringing it up there as you want. Most of these things are not owned by our own people. So remember that they also, as who they are, have to use what they have to propel and propagate who they are, irrespective, whilst doing businesses across boards. So eventually, if we don't speak for what we have and who we are on their platforms, so that their people know that, look, this guy understands where it's coming from, what else is our job? Who then will we be singing to in the next 50 years if identity is lost and transferred? You know.
Let's talk about music. New album coming?
What?
New album?
Yes, new album coming in March.
Next year?
Next year dropping. The last time I dropped an album was 2020. So this is like 3 years after. Yeah, 2020 in April.
Another junction.
I'll drop it 2023 in April. So that means like it's 3 years basically. Yeah, man. So we just dropped 2 singles off of that album. Therapy is one of those. And we just dropped Gidigba just Friday gone. It's picked up well. It's about to fly. You know, it represents my story and the story that everybody can relate to. You know, staying grounded, which is firm and strong, and not believing just anything, and finding your own answers that to suit you, ways in which you can learn and unlearn certain things just to stand valuable for yourself and society eventually. So that's what the song is about.
What's your opinion of Activate?
Activate is a very beautiful song that actually, you know, cut through for me over here in Nigeria, on top of the other collaborations that I have done in the past. You know, with Banky W from Olamide, they don't know them.
That's a jam, by the way. That's a jam.
If I'm being big, I'm so we kill them.
Right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So from that time, I think I've been finding ways to, you know, get into the minority percent that we have for the rest of the world here in Nigeria. That was a jam, though. You know?
That was a jam. I'm going to play that song after this. That was a jam. And then the one with Cynthia Morgan
to Go Gaga. That was with Cynthia Morgan and
what's this guy's name? MC Galaxy.
MC Galaxy actually owns that song and featured me and Cynthia. And Cynthia and I actually did a collab as well. And then me and Techno, and you know, the list goes on. See?
I feel like
so there's more work to be done from this side as well.
I feel like that was a wedding number in terms of like what that song could have been.
Yeah, exactly. So Activate is definitely one of the biggest songs that I've ever had so far, you know, that has actually come through here. You know, that's what I specified, that, you know, that we know the regulations over here. So foreign media has a certain category and percentage. So it really kicked into that one, and I know that, you know, the whole world knows Activate when you know Stonebwoy. And that's a good one because, you know, David brought in the numbers and showed a lot of love because that's who we are, basically, and it's spread to a larger audience, like I told you. So when there's a Nigerian involved, which is the reality, you know, the numbers come to play, you know, and then it grows, it takes it forward.
It's not just that though. I feel like
it's not just that. It's one of the reasons, basically.
No, what I want to say is sometimes it's the other way. People talk about love and intimacy, right? But one of the reasons why love and intimacy became what it became.
Yeah, because people accepted it outside. Exactly.
No. Like the original remix of Love and Intimacy had Joe Boy and Kwame Eugene, who had a lot of Ghanaian audience.
Exactly. That's the same thing I'm saying. So I was talking particularly basing it off of Activate, where I know definitely I bring in the numbers from the Ghana side, and then the Nigerian numbers too from David's side. It's definitely more. You can, you know, I'm not trying to beat anybody down in any way, but we all understand the numbers, which is the population, and that, you know, and even so, it still gets to stem inside different areas, and so that's why I said that.
What's the title of the album? Do you know it?
We have a few, but I can't share one that we might not all settle on, and I'm still thinking through, you know. Because it's shaping it up, but we have tons and tons of songs, to be honest. You know, and we've selected down and we're working on mastery and things now, you know.
Why did you choose now to release Gidigba to tell your story though?
Yeah, because I mean I flow naturally, same way. I think coming back from tour, all these things that are up in my mind and the realities, I have to drop them, you know, and it works for me. And at the point where I think I dropped therapy. Therapy, you can see the direction. That's how I love to drop my songs. I love to drop different styles after different styles, but all cooked up in the same Afro dancehall feel. So I think Gidigba was the next one for me, next jam. I needed to serve the people, and that's why I dropped it. The timing is actually right, like stand firm. You know.
Do you think you're at this point in your career you're just very, very inward? It's not like what everybody else is doing, what is inward that you want to be pouring out?
Yeah, it's actually what is inward that has always been coming out for people to be accepting. And then it gets to a point where they want to tell you what you have to bring. When from the beginning they were not there when you were bringing what you have to bring for them to accept. You know, so you have to always look inside of you, take some little advice from the outside as well, because sometimes you always need a coach to be able to tell you what it is, though you're the one that has a talent. So you can also just, but most often too, when you get to a certain point, you know that you have a bigger vision and a bigger dream that you have to take responsibility of and push to the fore, and then you can bring everybody else along with that. You know, so that is the level I am at now, exploring more and more within my terrain, you know, digging deeper, digging wider and all of that. And I think same old Stonebwoy, same old fresh, magnificent guy when you hear him on the record, you know, diverse. And these days I'm even more confident and more comfortable
to try things,
you know, because I've been able to curate hits from high life, Afro dance or reggae. At my festival, I was on stage like 3 hours and I didn't even perform some of the songs that are people's
have a healthy discography.
Jano, from the reggae category, we've done work with top reggae legends, from Sizzler to Calibots to Ayokten to Ejin Sasko. So I think I've been able to, over the period of years that I've been here, 13 years plus, proving to the world where my love is, you know.
Been 13 years already?
Yeah, man.
Bruh.
That's like active basically.
Man, looking forward to the album, man.
It must be crazy.
Look, what was your favorite stop on tour though? I think, it was a US tour?
Yeah, it was Europe.
Yeah, European tour.
Yeah, Therapy Festival tour was mad. Everywhere was packed.
Yeah.
Everywhere was packed. I enjoyed every little, each and every show I did, I enjoyed. It would be very difficult to choose which one. It's just, all the experiences make me feel different. You know, seeing a lot of people gravitating to the vibes, and you know you're at work pushing the vibes, you know, to them, you know, gravitating them to what they have to go and look out for as well. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we didn't get this thing on a silver platter where there's a lot of technological influence. We come from the schools where we're just entering and have to grind hard as well. We're still grinding, basically. It's not like some people are getting it easiest, but it's getting easier to put music out there and to curate some fans and, you know, because right now there are several apps that make you see what I'm doing.
Facts.
You know what I mean? You drop something and you know you're trending here, you have to go here and the love is coming from here. So with persons like us, we have both the foundation and we're still here headlining shows and all of that. You know, December in Ghana is going to be crazy again.
Not coming, it's too expensive.
Show. No, we should.
It's too expensive.
Big concert, Afrochella,
I know.
And a host of other beautiful events. It can never be too expensive for you to come to Ghana.
Bro.
Ghana is really expensive, I'm not gonna lie. I love to speak my truth.
In December, it's different.
But compared to Nigeria right now, I can be honest with you, Ghana is much more expensive. You know?
I think it even makes sense, to be honest. If you want to buy a bottle of water at Coachella, for example, a bottle of water,
exactly.
It makes a lot of sense.
At the event and also on the grounds, you know, I don't need to say it otherwise. You know what I mean? I trust that to say that what I can use 5,000 USD to do over here could be quite more than what I can use 5,000 USD to do in Ghana.
Interesting. That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Meanwhile, what's the difference between how you strategize now marketing-wise for a single and how it was at the time? What do you think about? What are the points?
You know, lately, you have to, you know, use all these other avenues that have actually, you know, come to help promote music. You You know, so these are the new ways, and there were the older ways which would actually remain as traditional media, radio and TV, when there were no apps that were running to. Now you have to constantly create content for TikTok, the Reels, the Snapchats. So you have to engage all these ones. You have influencers, as we call them now, who, you know, and like I said, everybody is a content creator right now. So once somebody has some numbers of following and they're pushing a certain agenda, they stand a chance of being hired to also, you know, put in the narrative for you. So new ways of promotion is just much more, you know, much more complex and expensive as well. You know what I mean? Exactly. So that's it. You just have to get abreast with the ongoing strategies and also, you know, also rely sometimes on your foundation, because some of the things that we have planted, some people cannot plant because of the times that we had, etc. However, they also have been times that they can plant some stuff that we would have never gotten to plant. So you just have to be aware of both ends. And as we beautifully fall from the back right into the Gen Z that's going on, it gives us a lot of privilege to know what happened in, you know, 1995. You know, we probably know what happened in 1980s, late 80s till now. So we are the Gidigba ones right now that have to teach some things to the Gen Z.
And at the intersection of a lot of things.
True.
Vector says we're a very lucky generation.
Yes, I.
Yeah.
Yes, I.
So everything. Bro.
Big respect.
That's what putting
Enough love.